guy. So I've been gone for a while. Not to brag or anything, but I've been dealing with some anxiety. Totally fun. It's fine. It's been a lot of fun. Don't worry though, I did talk to my doctor and he told me to stop. So I feel a lot better now. But anyway, I've noticed that every time I go a few weeks without making a video, I always forget how. What do I talk about? Is this where I sit? What do I do to make jokes? And I figured since I'm feeling kind of rusty, what better way to get back into the swing of things than by watching some training videos.
All right.
I feel like at one point or another, almost all of us have fallen down a YouTube rabbit hole of weird VHS training videos that teach us how to do jobs we don't have. Once you watch one, it's hard to stop. They just keep getting recommended and you end up learning some really valuable skills, like how to cook fried chicken, how to send an email, how to shoplift.
If merchandise is available and no one is around, steal it. Steal several items at a time. Steal as many as 40 items at one time from one store.
This old country buffet video that came on my recommended is like an instant classic for me, just because of how visibly uncomfortable this guy is. I'm almost a little bit worried he's being held hostage.
You might ask something like this.
Is it still hot out there?
Or this.
Did you catch a game last night?
Or this.
Have you tried the lasagna? It's my favorite.
Is it still hot out there? It was hot last time I went outside. 3 years ago.
It's my favorite.
One thing that's great about this video too is that it was uploaded by that guy. He's the one who put this on YouTube. And now that it's been getting a lot of views and comments recently, he was really excited to talk about some of the misconceptions people might have had. For one, he wanted to make it clear that the entire video was scripted, and no, he doesn't actually like lasagna. How could that even be? He seems so confident.
It's my favorite.
Let's take a closer look at greeting guests. Every conversation you hold with a guest should begin something like this.
Good evening.
Or,
hi, how are you?
Ah, so greet customers by greeting them. All right.
Children often play a big part in deciding which restaurant their parents visit. We want them to feel welcome and special here too.
One of the comments on here is, what restaurants do you want to go to, kids? The one with the sweaty man who makes us feel special.
So start conversations with children by saying something like this.
What grade are you in at school?
Or this.
Have you decided what dessert you're going to have?
Or this.
Do you like hot fudge sundaes?
Or this.
Do you have any homework?
Or this.
Could you help me break out of here?
At other buffet-style restaurants, guests often feel they're on their own. Once they've paid for the meal, no one pays much attention to them.
Oh, I know. I'd hate to be left alone to eat after I order my food. I'd much rather look up from my plate to notice a very sweaty man staring at me.
All right.
This next one is specifically for Nintendo employees who are handling returns from customers. And this one has a little bit of a different tone. I like this a lot.
Some people will go to great lengths to return an abused or an out-of-warranty piece of merchandise. What are you supposed to do? Tell them what you really think? Of course, you can't do that.
That's such a great line. What are you gonna do? Tell them what you really think, which is to fuck off and you don't get paid enough for this shit? You can't say that. You'll get in trouble. We know that's what you want to say, but for the sake of your own job security, let's try to go with something else.
If you take a look at it, I don't know what's the matter with it. It was working and now it's not working, so I'd appreciate if you, take a look at it. I'd like to get an exchange for it if I could.
An exchange?
Yes, sir.
Excuse me, Mr. Cashier. I gotta return my brand new PlayStation 5 that I just bought here and exchange it for a different one. Because none of the games are working and the controller's not working either. Okay. But this is an Xbox 360. And you're asking for a PlayStation 5? Oh, well that's okay. And you said the controller's not working? Yeah, but it's probably just the batteries. Do you have your receipt? Ah, no, I accidentally burned it when I was trying to light a candle. But I do have my credit card that you can put the money back on. Your money back? Is this a return or an exchange? Yes. So from there I stumbled upon this hour-long Mercedes car sale tutorial. I learned a lot of valuable things, and also I accidentally bought a Mercedes. Wait till the wife sees me roll up in that thing.
Let me ask you a couple questions, if I may.
Sure.
Now, what are you?
Now, one of the fun things I've heard a lot of people did in the 80s was cocaine. And I can't tell if this guy is on cocaine, but his eyes definitely are.
I want a nice car.
Then, of course, there's this extremely bizarre Chuck E. Cheese character training video. In honor of their current bankruptcy, I think it's for the best we go ahead and check this one out.
He must be full of energy and always having fun himself. A clean, well-maintained appearance is essential to Chuck E. Cheese's image.
That's why our mascot's a rat. Because when you think of cleanliness, you think of rats.
Be sure to brush the fur every day It is very important that Chucky has a well-groomed appearance.
Yeah, that's a good point. Otherwise, people might think he's something gross, like a rat.
One of Chucky's major roles comes during the birthday party, the parade of cakes. Since this part is so important, you might want to do a rehearsal on the floor before the store opens to get your bearings with the costume.
Oh, God. As creepy as this normal dance is, I think it's somehow even creepier when there's no kids in the room and it looks like they're just chasing him around with a cake.
Be sure to practice with the birthday tape to make sure that you get the precise timing down.
All right.
Remember, if you're ever in trouble, use the timeout signal and determine whether or not you will be able to make it to the regular exit door.
Okay, hold on. I feel like they kind of brushed over that a little bit, but that sounds ominous. What do they mean, in trouble? Is it like if you're ever gonna pass out? Remember, guys, this costume is hot as balls, so if you feel like you're gonna faint, throw up one of these and get the hell out of there. Whatever you do not faint in front of the kids, all right? They're gonna think Chucky died, and then they're never gonna wanna come back. So if you have to collapse to the ground, do that shit outside.
You can't let the charm of the costume carry itself. You must put your heart and soul into it, right? Right.
Here's a little piece of trivia I kind of knew, but not the last part. So in July 2012, the long-standing rat mascot was rebranded, changing to a slimmer rock star mouse who plays electric guitar. Voice actor Duncan Brannon, who for 19 years had characterized Chuck E. Cheese as a wisecracking rat from New Jersey, was replaced with Jarrett Reddick, the frontman and guitarist for the pop-punk band Bowling for Soup. I wondered what those guys were up to now. He's a cartoon mouse.
Where a kid can't be a kid.
Well, I don't know about you guys, but I've worked up quite the hankering for some pizza. And because I don't trust Chuck E. Cheese, let's head over to the hut and learn how to make one ourselves.
Okay, Julie, are you all ready to learn how to make a pizza the right way?
Making it great. Yes, I'm ready.
I like how a lot of these videos aren't just instructional, they're also basically advertisements for the company that in this case you're already working for. They always slip in lines about how like high quality the food is, and then one of the employees is like, yeah, it's so good. I'm so proud to be working for such a great company.
And our customers wouldn't get the best possible product.
Which they deserve every time they visit Pizza Hut.
Like, all right, relax, Julie.
On our pizzas, we use 2 layers of cheese. The bottom cheese.
And the top cheese, right?
Right.
And the cheese on top of the pizza, right? Because that's what makes it a pizza, right? Okay, can you stop?
The server will do the rest. No, the customer will do the rest when they bite into my delicious pizza. Delicious pan pizza and delicious thin and crispy pizza. What more could a customer want?
Personal pan pizza.
What?
What? There's more pizza? Oh, I was so happy a second ago.
Just remember to follow the instructions exactly and you'll be just fine.
And so will the pizzas, right?
Right.
Oh my god.
Hey, I'm not just making pizza, I'm making it great.
You know, I can already tell this girl is all talk. She seems confident now, but the moment things get hard in like a week, she's walking out of there. Yeah, I've seen my fair share of Julies before. They always crack. When it comes to food training videos, though, it's Wendy's that takes the cake. If for nothing else, just for sheer quantity. They've got songs about hot drinks. They've got songs about cold drinks. Which is basically just saying, put ice in the cup and then fill it up with the drink. But sure, listen to the song if you need to. And they also have this one called Grill Skills, which is certifiably insane. You'll see why. Starts off with the founder of Wendy's, Dave Thomas, who just woke up from a very long nap to tell us about hamburgers.
My goal has been to serve the best hamburger in the business, a Wendy's old-fashioned hamburger. So I started with the freshest beef I could find, 100% pure beef.
Human beef.
And we patted it into squares, so the hamburger hangs over the side of the bun.
You know, when I worked at Wendy's, they told me that the patties are square because they never cut corners. But here Dave is saying that it's just because he likes that they hang over the bun. So which is it? Seems like a bit of revisionist history, if you ask me. Also, sometimes we did cut corners, so it's a lie.
It also makes the patty larger, so they'll hang over the edge of the bun. And people will like that.
Yes, they will, Dave. Okay, seems pretty normal so far, so I'll skip ahead a bit.
Why don't you have a look at the tape first, and I'll check back with you in a few minutes.
All right.
Yeah, I remember my first day too.
The grill, Bill, it ain't so tough. But first of all, you got to check your stuff. Like a grill that's set at 250 with the meat and cheese that's ready to go. A towel to keep your station looking cool. But most of all, you got to have your tool.
Yeah, so it's kind of the best thing in the entire world.
When the meat's red, juices no longer rise. You can serve that patty, it'll win a prize.
Gotta hand it to the prop department here. They really nailed it. They got the smoking TV that looks like a microwave. You got the comically large medal to put on his neck. Pretty good job.
The reason you press, you gotta think. When the meat hits the grill, it starts to shrink.
We start shrinking when we hit that grill. You know it will.
Okay. Forgot about the part halfway through where the patties come to life, and it turns out they've been beautiful women this whole time.
When we hit that grill, you know it will.
You can serve that patty, it'll win a prize. It takes just about 4 minutes to cook, but just to make sure you can take a look. Use your tool to double check. It should be great and moist to be correct. Hey!
Aw, they're falling in love. Well, that's the end of the song at least, unless...
A customer orders a single with cheese.
Oh, there's more, okay.
Drain then serve on a bun just so. Don't touch it with your fingers, that's a big no-no.
Okay, but then something horrifying happens. The talking patties come back, and one of them says this.
I'm stage 5 and I'm still alive.
All the patties are alive? That's horrible. So the goal then is that we cook the meat long enough to murder them? And every time I cook one, I'm gonna imagine a plump-lipped lady being burned to death at the hands of my spatula? Can I be the cashier instead?
Mr. Bill!
Bill, the tape is over. Do you have any questions?
No, I think I've got it all.
You don't have any questions? Because you just got sucked into a VCR where some guy rapped at you about beef. No, I think I got it. Huh. Usually people have a lot of questions. They're falling in love. Well, now that Billy knows the burger rap, looks like he can cook patties to his heart's content. It's just one of those classic stories with a happy ending. And most importantly, there are no more songs. Oh no.
When you got orders to fill, come to the one with the grill skin.
This one's not quite as much of a bop as that other song, but it does end with a pretty killer sax solo. You're listening to Wendy's Music International. That was, of course, Grill Skill by The Crew. Up next, it's The Crew with Grill Skill. They make it seem so fun to work at Wendy's. I get to sing cool songs and wear a visor. But when I worked at Wendy's, I worked the same shift, 5 p.m. to close, 4 days a week, every week for months. One day, I noticed my paycheck was less than usual, which doesn't make sense because, like I said, I work the same schedule every week. Why would this one be less? So I talked to the manager about it, and she tried to tell me that I called in sick on a day I remember working, specifically because it was on a Sunday, and I remember the football game that I stopped watching to go to work. And now she's going to tell me that I don't get paid for my 10 hours of work. So I was pretty upset, but she was upset that I brought this up with an earshot of a customer, so she took me to the back and yelled at me, and then I quit. So we didn't get any cool songs. I'm curious though, for all you guys who've worked jobs like these in the past, have you ever actually seen a training video like this at your work? I feel like I've seen dozens of these on YouTube. It's kind of a trope in some movies, but every job I've ever worked at, I've never had like a VHS training video when I started. If anything, I probably should have made my own training video for Wendy's management to teach them how to properly pay their employees and stop calling me Andrew because that's not my name. Sorry, I just get so worked up even thinking about it. Let's cut to an ad read. I gotta go cool down. Hi. I haven't gotten a haircut in 4 years, and I'm here to tell you about today's sponsor, ExpressVPN. Have you ever tried to watch something you thought was on Netflix only to find out that they took it off without even telling you about it? Because I have. Well, did you know that with a virtual private network, you can trick your internet into thinking that you're in a different country, thereby unlocking the content that may only be available there. If you live in the US, this includes shows like Rick and Morty, Brooklyn Nine-Nine. I've also used it to watch basketball games that have been blacked out in my area. ExpressVPN has servers in 94 different countries, so you're pretty much guaranteed to be able to find the thing that you're looking for. But of course, ExpressVPN is also about online security, encrypting your data so you can surf the web with relative anonymity. Like if you're a college student on your school's network and you don't want them to be able to track what you're doing for whatever reason. ExpressVPN has consistently faster speeds than other VPN providers, and it's so easy to use, you can fire it up without even opening your eyes.
I've had mine closed for months.
It's just $7 a month with a 30-day money-back guarantee, and to find out how you can get 3 months free, click the link in the description. That's expressvpn.com/Drew, not Andrew, okay? That's not my name. And also, it won't take you anywhere.
All right, I feel a lot better now. Thanks for letting me get all that off my chest. Well, if you're sticking around because you expected me to say something else, you're going to be disappointed. The video's over. So you can keep watching if you'd like, but I'm not really going to say anything. I mean, I am saying something. It's just not very interesting or important. But you're free to stick around if that's what you want to do.
心から君を歓迎しよう。
Hey everybody, it's me, Lavender Town, and before the video starts, I just want to say I have a plushie out with Makeship. It's supposed to be the character from this channel, and I think she turned out so cute, so if you want to get one of your own, there's a link in the description. I don't want to waste too much time at the start of this video, but I really wanted to tell you because I've never been so excited about anything that has ever been associated with this channel, so yeah, please check it out if you want to. Alright, let's watch the video. Hey everybody, it's Lavender Town, and today I wanted to talk to you guys about bad art advice. I've always thought that unhelpful advice or advice that pushes you in the wrong direction is worse than no advice at all. So I wanted to tell you guys some things that I used to follow that I feel like didn't help me or actually made me have a harder time, so that maybe it can help you too. So the first piece of advice I see experienced artists giving to young artists all the time, and I received this when I was starting out as well, and that is basically just practice. This is something that a lot of people say when someone comes up to them and goes, oh, how did you become so good at art? How do I become good at art? I want to find my style, I want to get good at anatomy, and the experienced artist will say, oh, you just have to practice, just draw a lot. I know that this is coming from the right place, but I would say that if someone is a brand new beginner, it's not helpful to tell them to just practice. I feel like it's kind of also a little snobby, like it's assuming that the person you're talking to is not practicing and that they're just lazy, but I find that young artists are often extremely prolific, and beginners are usually really excited about drawing, so they're already drawing a lot. What they're probably asking is a more complicated question. There's probably something specific about drawing that they're struggling with, and they don't really know how to articulate that yet. But what you can do is if someone comes up to you and is asking you how to get better, try to ask them some questions back, like, well, what specifically would you like to improve? Because drawing is not just like one skill, it's actually a series of different skills, like your skill of observation, and then your ability to do things like perspective are completely separate from your ability to like stylize. When we tell somebody to just practice, we're leaving them to try to figure out on their own what that means, and they might even end up getting some bad habits or picking up unhelpful things like really bad how to draw books. I know that I learned drawing like the first time with a really bad Christopher Hart how to draw book, and I don't think it did any lasting damage, but I definitely think if I had had some sort of guidance from someone and they had pointed me in the direction of like some better drills and things to do, it might have made me better faster. Now, just to be super duper clear, I'm not saying that practice is bad or encouraging newbies to practice is bad. Of course not. I'm just saying that when someone's asking you a specific question, they really want advice, it's almost definitely not the kind of advice they're looking for. Not necessarily because they're lazy or they lack the grit to become an artist, but probably because they just don't know where to start, because drawing is such a huge skill that involves so many other things, and it's really hard to tackle. Like when you're starting from scratch, like figuring out where to even start is a whole challenge in and of itself. So we should try to be more compassionate and helpful to beginner artists. This next piece of advice is a sizzling hot take that is going to be maybe unpopular with some people. I know this is a controversy, honestly, in the artist community, but it is the piece of advice that you should learn the rules before you break them. This is one of the most common things I hear levied at cartoonists. A lot of people say that before you learn to stylize anything, you have to completely understand everything about realistic drawing. Now, I totally understand where people are coming from with this, and I believe this very strongly. When I entered art school, I was basically completely convinced that all of the cartoon drawings that I had done before art school, before my life drawing classes and things like that, that basically was damaging and it wasn't legitimate because I hadn't learned the rules, so-called. The problem with this, I find, is that when you switch over completely to doing realism and won't allow yourself to do other styles or try to stylize, you can actually lose your ability to stylize. It becomes harder because it's actually its own skill. It seems like a lot of people who prefer realistic drawing think that if you become good at realistic drawing, of course you can draw cartoons. But truthfully, it's actually a completely different, completely distinct skill. It will help you, obviously, but if you aren't stylizing at all, you're not practicing with exaggerating forms or changing things, leaving details out, adding details in like a cartoony way, or just even in an experimental way, you can literally start to forget how to do that, and your art will become stiff and you will be overburdened with information. Because when you're doing hardcore studying of like anatomy, we're talking like muscles, sinews, like really, really breaking things down in a very granular way, it becomes very difficult to then a year later jump right back into cartoony stuff and like being really whimsical. So I have always thought that you should learn these things in tandem together. I think that if you learn and practice stylization at the same time as you're learning and practicing anatomy, perspective, those kind of things, it actually they reinforce each other. It's symbiotic. I genuinely feel like the year of art school I learned the most was when I had life drawing classes in the same week that I also had illustration classes and classes about animation, where I was allowed to do my own cartoony style all the time. It really helped both of those skills build on each other and made both of them more enjoyable. And lastly, I think the idea that you can even learn the rules in regards to anatomy, perspective, realism, that kind of stuff, and just be done at any point is crazy anyway. Since there's always more to learn and always more ways you can improve, the whole concept doesn't make sense to me. This next bit of advice is more technical, but it's something that has bothered me ever since I was in high school or middle school and I saw how the art classes were done there. Basically, a lot of people say that you should try to copy photographs, like copy down photographs, and that will teach you how to draw, basically. A lot of people suggest this as like a first starting point when you're learning how to draw, and there's a lot of problems with this, especially with the method that a lot of people use. Sometimes people will use a photo reference for like a specific part of their illustration, and that makes perfect sense. You should do that. Like, genuinely, it will help you. I should do it more, frankly. But when people are just copying photos, especially photos that were like taken on like a phone, or edited and filtered on like Instagram and stuff, when you're like copying down like a beautiful e-girl's face, that's not super helpful, and especially because a lot of people do it by making like a grid. They did this in middle school all the time in the actual art class. They would have the students copy down like a big grid on a big piece of paper and then have a small photo and then have the grid on that, and basically you're just filling in all the grid spaces with the lines that you're seeing of the person's face or whatever your photograph is. This is not a great way to learn how to draw, because drawing is really about understanding shapes. And when you're filling in the grid, you're usually looking at the photo piece by piece and thinking mostly about the line. And you're comparing it based on the placement inside the grid. But what you should really be thinking about, if you're looking at like a person's face, you should be thinking about their whole head, like down to the back of their head, even if it's not showing in the photo. You need to be thinking about the shapes so that you can think about it in 3 dimensions. You need to think about the shape of their nose, not the shadow line that their nose is making, but the actual shape of the nose itself. You won't be able to do like any intuitive drawing from your head by learning this way. You will always need photo reference, and I feel like unless you want to be a professional copy machine, it's not really helpful. Some advice that I got in art school that was actually really good advice is that you should always be using more than like 3 photo references to make your image, especially if you don't want to run into like copyright problems if you're doing something professionally, obviously. But like, yeah, if you're constructing an image and you have reference photography, you want as many references as possible so that you're using them for like little details and like checking on yourself to make sure that you're having like a rich, filled out, well-drawn piece, but not that you're copying like 1 or 2 pictures. Next up is the piece of advice that almost ruined my life and made me quit art. This is the worst thing ever, and I don't know why people keep saying it, and there's even still videos of people defending this worldview, and it just drives me absolutely crazy. And that advice is to stop drawing blank. You can put a ton of different things into that blank. Usually it's some type of art form that's either associated with another country, particularly Asia, if it's associated with something like feminine or cute or young, so it's anything that like kids or women might be more inclined towards. Like, it's okay to draw graphic novels as long as they look like Watchmen, but it's not okay to draw graphic novels if they look like Steven Universe or Adventure Time or a kid's book, as if those aren't legitimate art jobs that people can sustain their entire lives on. I genuinely don't understand, as somebody who's gone to art school, and particularly art school that is supposed to train you for the industry, why there are students and teachers who still believe that there is no place for learning stylized cartoony art. Now, I'm not talking about drawing anime in your life drawing class. I don't think that that's a good idea. You're not going to get as much out of the class. But in scenarios like my painting class, where supposedly we were allowed to use whatever style we wanted, we just had to show a understanding and an ability to use the tools that we were working with and to convey a story. I don't understand why I got reprimanded for painting something in a stylized way, especially because some students that she praised didn't even paint any specific subject, they just did abstract art. And it's not like I hadn't shown her that I could do realism before. Our very first assignment was a portrait of our own faces, and I got a really, really good grade, and she was really impressed. I was really happy about that, but it didn't stop her from basically saying something pretty like insensitive and racist about anime and Japanese people and grading me down because she thought my painting was too anime. This is a painting, by the way. I don't think it's a great painting, but I do think that I didn't deserve to be marked down for the reasons that I was. But it was that kind of stuff that caused me to not draw in my own style or even experiment in any styles outside of like semi-realism or realism for a whole year. And it made me feel ashamed of the entire body of work that I had done prior to school. And I really think that that might be part of the reason why so many people drop out of my college, because I think getting told that there's no value in the art that you're drawing and that you should never draw that way again is so extreme and so overboard. And at the end of the day, it's just bad advice. Thank you to all of my patrons, including Abnormal Crap, Ambrose, Best Kaiju, Lion, Christopher, Clockwork Construct, Dark Jelly, Dr. Casket, Larry Louie, Emily Borgoing, Fabletel, Juliana Davis, Griffix.
You know how, because in some states in America, if you get caught drink driving, they put a thing on your car, you have to blow into it every time. Yeah, some guy, like, he made a video, it was like, how to avoid doing that by inhaling alcohol instead.
That sounds safe.
All the comments were like, I feel like you're missing the point of why this is in your car. Like, but anyway.
Do you reckon like, you get, like, in Ava, right? Do you reckon they just made, like, an alcoholic version of, like, LCL? So you just like, get fucked up on LCL. You just get fucked in LCL. Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of Trash Taste Podcast, where we talk about our trash taste in anime, gaming, whatever. Actually, we've never talked about gaming. I don't know, whatever. We have our trash taste and everything. I am your host for today, Giguk, and with me is Connor, Sea-Dog VA, and Joey, the anime man.
That's me. Go on.
Keeping it real today.
Okay, I cut you off for that. I should cut you off.
No facetious nicknames. What did you want to say, Connor? What did you want to say?
I mean, if you'll mention it, should we just talk about games then? Like, what games you've been playing? Or what have you played recently?
Have you been playing anime games?
No, I never play anime games.
Do you never?
I never play anime games.
What? I mean, okay.
What am I?
What constitutes as an anime game, though? That's the thing. Right?
If the characters go, every 10 seconds.
That's like every game.
Yeah. No.
You can say Last of Us is an anime game in that sense.
They have a cute anime girl going.
I don't know, like, how many games do you guys play? Because I found that I just have 0 times to play a lot of games nowadays.
I mean, now that the quarantine is over here, right?
As a gamer.
As a verified gamer girl.
As a pro gamer.
I just wanted to say as a gamer. I didn't have I'm kidding. No, I mean, I feel like it's probably the thing that got cut the most when I became an adult. Like, out of everything that I do, watching films, doing anything else, like, gaming got cut down the most for me. Because in university...
Because that's all you used to do, right?
I used to do gaming for like 12 hours a day, no problem.
Jesus.
Yeah, it was easy.
I don't
love
think I
that
could do
shit.
that.
I used to play like League of Legends.
Depends on the game, actually, for me. Like, I played... When Persona 5 first came out, I definitely
Still
spent
haven't played
like
Persona
more
5.
than 12 hours a day on that.
Oh no, like for me, the reason I don't play many games anymore is because when I get into a game, I get into it. I'm like one of those guys who just can't go. Like, I either have 8-hour gaming sessions or I just don't game at all. There's no in between for me. Like, especially if it's like an RPG or a story driven game. Like, I remember when I last played Persona 5, it was just like my just block out my week. Nothing is happening this week but me playing Persona 5.
Yeah,
which is why I haven't played Royal yet.
I played Persona 5, Persona 5 Royal, and Persona 5 Scramble. And I think in total that took maybe like 500-600 hours out of my life.
This man finds time where time shouldn't exist. Like,
I mean, that's what I like about Animal Crossing, right? Because I'm still playing that to this day, and I've put in maybe like 300-400 hours into that game. But that's the thing, right? It's like, unlike most gaming sessions where it's like 0 hours or 8 hours, Animal Crossing is just one of those games where you can play for half an hour and then you can just drop.
Yeah,
that's fair enough.
Yeah, which is what I like, right? It's just like a little thing to just kind of do on the sideline.
As someone who plays League of Legends, I feel like even if it is a 40-minute game session,
pro gamer here,
that shit felt like 8 hours. that mental battle that it took to play a game of League of Legends took 8 hours.
Yeah,
but I fucking used to love playing League of Legends, man. I was so addicted.
Are there any like actual like games based off anime that you guys like? Or
what do you mean?
Like, by anime games, I don't mean like games with anime-looking characters. Like, I'm not talking about like a Xenoblade or like a Dragon Quest 11 kind of thing.
Has there ever been a good anime spin-off? I'm sure there has. No, it's just I can't really think of any right now.
I mean, like, you know,
I
all
bought
like
the Attack on Titan game on Steam, and I was like, yo, I'm so hyped. I get 10 minutes into the game, I'm like,
Probably Dragon Ball Fighters. That's
you like the fighting games?
I mean, I'm not really much of a fighting game enthusiast, but I mean, I had fun playing it, and I think it was a pretty good game.
I enjoyed what was the latest like Naruto fighting game? Like, I'm not a huge fan of Naruto.
Arena 17.
something like that. I don't know.
Yeah,
but like the latest one on Steam, like I think someone gifted that to me, and I just gave it a go. But I was like, you know, I'm not that much of an advocate for like fighting games. I'm not that good at fighting games, and I'm not much of a fan of the Naruto franchise. But I gave it a go. That game's genuinely fun.
Right.
I mean, you have what's the Pokemon fighting game?
Oh, Pokken. I like Pokken.
Yeah,
Pokken's good. I like.
If you like Pokken, it's similar to that, but just with Naruto characters. Yeah.
No one ever wants to play Pokken.
Pokken's so fun.
It's good though because I dude, you know, you bring your Switch to a party, right? You're like, I've got Mario Party. I've got Mario Kart. I've got all these amazing multiplayer games, right?
Yeah.
The last thing anyone wants to play is Pokken. But if people give it a chance, it's actually fun.
Yeah.
I don't think it's a great game, but it's a really fun
It's
party
fun.
game.
It's really, really fun, yeah.
It's just like a brain-dead fighting game. It's really easy. They
Yeah.
dumbed it down a lot, but I think it needed to be. Because I suck at fighting games.
Well, here's a question for you guys. And have you ever watched an anime and thought, this would be a really cool game? Because I can think of one off the top of my head.
Sword Art Online.
Would Sword Art Online be a good game though?
I've played the Sword Art Online games. They all suck.
And I'm not just saying that.
Wait, there's one in the arcade, right?
Yeah, and I'm not just saying that because I don't like Sword Art Online. Like, genuinely, they all suck.
I just had a huge epiphany.
Yes.
What?
The JoJo battle, the JoJo Fortnite.
The JoJo Fortnite game.
The JoJo Fortnite game.
Yeah, there's in Japan they have an arcade game and it's a battle royale of JoJo and you go around Morio and all you do is like try and fucking punch each other to death. It's so fun.
That game's fun.
It's kind of bad. It's kind of a bad game.
It kind of sucks, but it's fun.
But it's good.
It's fun.
It's fucking great. Because like I completely forgot about Japanese arcades as well. And
Oh my god, we haven't spoken about that.
Yeah, we haven't spoken about that.
My second home, baby. I'm at an arcade. I was at an arcade just yesterday, actually, because I wanted to get what's that piano game that you and I are really into?
It's like
Nostalgia, I think it's called.
I think it's something like that.
Yeah.
Basically, in Japanese arcades are fucking next level.
Yeah.
Like it's like arcades just didn't die here, and there's so many cool things about Japanese arcades that you just can't get anywhere else in the world.
Yeah, if you think American arcades are fun, you will nut in a Japanese arcade.
Yeah,
just
exactly.
It's a different experience for an arcade, because growing up, my arcade experience is always like kind of like, you know, House of the Dead, those type of
Yeah,
games.
yeah.
Like party
Time
games that
Crisis
anyone
and
can
stuff like
play.
that, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
Time Crisis, right? That's like, and they do have those. I'd say those are the only games that really translated well from like Western arcades, like maybe
Yeah.
Dance Dance Revolution as well.
I don't know, because like Japanese arcades have so many rhythm games, and
It's like 80% rhythm games.
But they've got so many unique ideas about
Yeah,
rhythm
yeah.
games. Because I remember when I was like, before I came to a Japanese arcade, I was like, oh yeah, rhythm games aren't really my thing. You know, I didn't really enjoy DDR, all that kind of stuff. And then I went to a Japanese arcade, and there are just so many different types of rhythm games, and it's fucking crazy. I mean, I thought after, you know, playing Guitar Hero and just pretending to be a band, or what was it, Rock Band?
Rock Band,
No, just playing basically every instrument. I was like,
DJ
okay,
Hero?
rhythm games aren't going to get better than this because you're pretending to play the instruments.
Yeah.
And then Japanese arcades would be like, nah, how about we just invent instruments?
Yeah. you see this DJ board right here?
Yeah.
6 buttons. You're a DJ now. and it feels amazing when you like turn the knobs and stuff like that. It's like, ooh, okay. I'm making some music right now. Goddamn. Yeah, but no, I was the exact same. Like, I've always liked rhythm games.
Yeah.
Even way before, you know, like Rhythm Heaven and stuff like that on the DS. Like, I played the fuck out of those games. Loved it. But when I moved here, I was the exact same, right? I was like, I'm not a huge fan of DDR. Never really played a lot of rhythm games like in Western arcades, and I didn't really even have an arcade in Australia.
Yeah.
We didn't really have an arcade that was nearby enough. Like, we had one in the city.
Yeah, there's one that was really far away from me.
Yeah, but like the city for me where I live is like 45-minute drive away.
shit,
So
okay,
to a
yeah.
14-year-old, it might as well be in a different
Yeah,
country.
Yeah.
So my only experience with arcades is the Japanese arcades.
Yeah.
But even when I was little, I would go to a Japanese arcade, and I never really touched the rhythm games because all these like high school kids are around, and as a 10-year-old, you don't want to go into that crowd,
It's
right?
intimidating. Those dudes on some of these games are insane.
You know someone is like insane when there's like a 16-year-old just rocking up in front of a tune-rhythm machine, and he just puts his gloves on.
Yeah, the gloves. If they wear gloves, they're like serious.
Yeah, it's like that.
These games are insane.
You know someone is like insane when there's like a 16-year-old just rocking up in front of a tune-rhythm machine, and he just puts his gloves on.
Yeah, the gloves. If they wear gloves, they're like serious.
Yeah, it's like that anime moment, you know, when you put on the glove.
He puts on the gloves. He just does the shine, and he just gets ready. Like he just stretches and shit. I'm just like,
is that the game where they go like this?
Yeah, this
They for some reason, I don't know why all the good players do it. There must be a trick but they all throw their hands in the air when they're playing.
I think I've played
they just
tuning them
don't care.
before. That's an actual movement.
Sorry.
Wait, what? What'd you say?
Don't worry about it.
I'm going to see the replay now. You motherfucker.
No, but like I played tuning them once because I was also
You're
interested.
just like,
That's an actual movement you need to do. You have to. There's a sensor in the actual board that senses your hands moving up.
Well,
yeah.
But a lot of them do it like when they've, in the movies, or they finish their piano solo and they just like raise their hand.
Yeah.
They go high.
Yeah, it looks like a classical pianist just finishing their performance, right?
But they're doing it like every
I
2
mean, like
seconds.
they're almost putting in as many inputs as like a Japanese pianist, like not a professional pianist. Sometimes it looks so cool though. When someone's good, you're like, man, this is amazing. This is like a spectator sport right here.
Yeah, but then you think about, man, how many 100 yen coins did they have to go through to get to that level?
To be fair though, you get like 3 songs most of the time, so about 10 minutes for about 100 yen, which is less than $1.
So what are the go-to rhythm games for you guys at an arcade?
I like the one you showed me. I can't remember what it was called, but it's the one where it's like a massive circle. Waka. Yeah. And basically, it's a really unique input where it's like the entire circle, and you have to like follow the lines and everything like that.
We'll have a video on screen.
Yeah.
I'm sure.
It was something that. It's rhythm games like this that you just can't. I've just never seen before.
That shit burned my fingers though. When you're trying to do that,
it was the first time I considered. I was like, should I buy gloves?
Yeah, because it's like a plastic thing, right? And some of the inputs are like, do a full 360 with your hands, so you're just sliding your sweaty palms all around this thing, and you're like, like trying to get your hand around.
I was like, oh, that's where the gloves come in handy.
Because the thing is, they're not buttons as well. They're all just sensors. So you're just here like smashing this hard surface, like, dude, and it hurts your fingers. Oh my
really
god,
fucking hurts.
Shit hurts. I love the piano one, but that's because it's basically What's the other piano one where the guys do the thing in the air? What's it called?
Tunism.
I feel like that's the hard version, and the one that I like is the easy one because it's like a piano thing, but you don't have to actually hit the right, just close enough.
Just somewhere around there.
So you basically look at the screen, you just do that. It's really like beginner friendly, and I really like it because a lot of them, like I feel the problem with a lot of the games is there's medium and then there's fucking insane. Like there's no in between. And I always had this problem with Guitar Hero where like I could do medium fine, but when we put the little pinky involved, that's when it all fell apart. Like I couldn't do it. But
it makes you feel like a pianist.
Oh my god, shut the fuck up. Or the classic, the taiko drums, right?
Oh yeah, Taiko no
That's like whenever you bring someone, you're like, come on.
Yeah, come on. You'll enjoy this.
It's so easy to understand, right? It's like monkey brain mode activated.
Yeah. I hit 2 places. Okay, I understand.
Yeah. What about you?
I mean, the one I always go to is Groove Coaster.
Oh, you always play Groove Coaster. It looks cool though.
Groove Coaster's fun.
Which one's that one?
Groove Coaster is the one with the giant
It's like
screen,
pure ADHD.
and there's 2 knobs that you have to like move around and tap. And I sucked at it at first, but then I went to this con in Washington DC like 2 years ago, maybe 3 years ago,
right?
And they had a Groove Coaster machine, but no one was in front of it. And at this point, I'd never played Groove Coaster before.
Yeah.
And I just saw this Groove Coaster machine that nobody was lining up in front of, and it was free to play.
Yeah, and the cons
the whole con.
Yeah.
So I was like, I got like 2 hours to kill. Fuck it. And no one's lining up in front of this thing. Let's do it. And I got so good in those 2 hours where I was just like,
He's like,
I have to go to
Joey?
I have to come back to Japan and like actually get on these machines. And,
Yeah,
then
yeah.
ever since then, I've loved it. And there's also what's the other one? What's the cube one? Keep forgetting.
Oh, the one where you gotta like tap the things.
Tap the things in time.
I forgot what that's called.
That one's really old.
That's everywhere.
Yeah. That's like a classic rhythm game in the Japanese arcade.
Yeah, because I remember my first experience with like Japanese arcade games. It was there's always
At
that
conventions.
fear where you're just like, I have no idea what I'm doing. You know what I mean? Like especially at conventions when there's always that guy.
Yeah.
That guy who just like and he's always before you as well.
Comes up with the Excel spreadsheet on the best technique. It's like, all right, I just want to play the game, but all right.
and you're just standing there being like, what buttons do I press? Like I don't even know any of
Like,
these
bro,
songs.
It's Time Crisis.
And it's always the worst at cons as well because you know there's people standing around you.
Oh no,
judging you so hard. It's like, look at this fucking
Especially when
noob.
you're like, if you're like a guest there, everyone's gonna look at you like, wow, Joey's kind of sucks at that.
Yeah, it's like I'm definitely gonna bring this up at their panel later. You sucked at DDR. Do you have any comments about that?
Yeah, suck at DDR.
But that's what I love about like Japanese arcades is that you can just lose so many hours in there, and it's really easy because it's
and you get the cards.
Yeah, I was going to talk about the cards.
Sorry.
Like basically, actually, you explain, Joe, because you're the one who did it for me, so you probably know the process better than me.
So different machines are owned by, I guess, different rhythm game companies or whatever.
Yeah.
And you can, if you get so good at it, you can buy these cards for like 300 yen, which is nothing. It's like $3. And you print them out, and you can save your progress on it because it's a public rhythm game. So if you just put the money in, you're treated as a guest. So your records for whatever stage you do, high scores, that kind of stuff, doesn't get saved because you're just a guest.
Yeah.
So if you get so invested in a particular rhythm game or a number of rhythm games, you can buy these cards. And to save your records and stuff like that. And you can a lot of Japanese people I know like share it online to flex on each other essentially.
And like I recommend getting it anyway because there are some rhythm games like the piano one that if you don't have a card, they're going to make you sit through the tutorial, and there's no way to skip it.
Exactly.
Like I remember I really enjoyed it, and I went to the arcade on 3 separate occasions, and for the first like 3 minutes, I was just sitting there being like,
I remember I finished like my first 2 songs, and I'm like, you don't have the tutorial yet, or like,
I was still doing the tutorial every time, so I was like, I gotta get a fucking card. I need a card.
Yeah. And the good thing is as well with those cards is that not only are they cheap, but a lot of the cards, the first game that you do with the card is usually free. So you actually make that money back. Yeah. So like with Groove Coaster at least, when you get it's called a Nesca card.
There's Nesca, and then there's a few other ones.
Yeah, then there's the Bandai one as well.
Yeah, I have that.
Yeah, so with the Nesca card at least, when the first game of Groove Coaster you play is free. Because you just put that money into the card,
right?
Which I think is a nice compromise because it doesn't feel like you just you're paying extra to save your progress essentially.
And you'll only have a set amount of stages as a guest.
Yeah.
And if you level up, you earn more stages.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's just cool to like go back to an arcade, every so often and just
Play
be
your
like,
favorite anime song.
It's like, I got to triple S this stage, man. I just have to. I have to invest.
They have
money.
Undertale on Groove Coaster, right?
Yeah, they have the entire soundtrack. I'm
Oh,
fucking
shit.
dude. I can do level 12 Megalovania like triple S. I was pretty proud of myself.
It's
Not gonna lie.
so cool because the on Groove Coaster they have like special animations just for the Undertale song. So
really?
It looks like an Undertale game playing out. On
Oh
the
no,
thing.
that's every song that they have.
Yeah. But
even all the Vocaloid stuff as well. They use
really?
like the
Okay.
music videos for it, and that's what I love about Groove Coaster because every stage actually
So
looks
cool.
really unique as well because it has to match the song. Right?
Have you tried using your card, the ones in America? Have you ever tried that?
No.
I should try that. That's just
That would be pretty
Does
cool.
it work?
If you're at a convention and you just
probably wouldn't, right? Because
whip out the card, right?
Yeah.
Probably need to be connected to the internet.
I gotta flex on these people that I triple S Megalovania on level 12.
Oh, you don't have all the stages?
Yeah. Oh.
How do you guys feel about like the UFO machines or like the prize machines here in Japan?
Aki's fucking amazing at it, and I don't know how she is.
Because what really surprised me is that in everywhere else it's kind of like a luck, luck based, but in here I see people who are just really good at these machines and they can actually turn it into a profit because then they just sell the figures or whatever you get or buy.
Well, that's a huge industry as well.
Yeah,
That's
exactly.
a big deal. Like a lot of the stores in Akihabara are selling crane game stuff. It's like, how do they get sold?
I just don't understand how people can get good at that because Aki, every time we go to an arcade, Aki always is just like, fuck the rhythm games. I'm just going to go to the crane games to just get random shit. But every time I try it and she's standing next to me, she's always like, oh no, you should move that more to the right. I'm like, how do you know that? I was just fucking going for it, but there's like a whole like secret thing where it's like, yeah, you have to aim it slightly to the left so that it drags the plushie closer to the hole. I'm just
I don't
like,
want to do that.
How do you figure that shit out?
I just want to go beep beep and pick up. Right? Like I don't want to think about this. I want to just play it. Right?
I guess you have to if you want to like not spend as much money.
But if I
the thing,
really,
right?
really want the thing in the crane, I'll just go to the shop next door that probably is selling it used for like 800 yen, which is way cheaper than it would.
Yeah, every time you go to an arcade in Akihabara, there's always the store next to it is selling the exact thing you're trying to gamble for.
But in Japan, if you mess up enough and you put enough money in the machine, the staff will come over and be like, "Hey, you want help?"
We feel kind of bad. You've spent like how many thousands of yen on this?
Yeah, which is why like when I have friends who are doing it who are fucking up loads and they put like $20, I'm like, put like 10 more bucks in, then I'll call the staff over.
Yeah.
And if you do that, normally they'll place it, they'll pick it up, literally put it on the box, and just require you to like tap it.
Yeah.
Like they'll pretty much set it up for you. And if
Baby
you
mode activates.
Literally baby mode. Like, so that pro tip: if you come to Japan, just
use
fuck up a lot.
your gaijin card and be like, I don't know how to do this.
I'm
Just sumimasen.
Just chuck them a sumimasen and they'll be like, all right, I got you, fam.
Man, damn. Have you ever seen a crane game at the conventions in America?
No, I haven't actually.
I've seen them, but I've always been scared to try them.
I guess because you can set the crane game to how difficult you want it.
Yeah.
And just knowing how like a lot of, at least American crane games that I've played,
I mean, they're
how they
scams, bro.
might as well just be like, there might as well not be a claw.
It's basically just a slot machine with a claw attached.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
exactly.
With less odds of winning.
with less odds
exactly.
of winning.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'd rather put my money into an actual slot machine than a crane game.
Which I would not rather do anyway.
Yeah. But no, there's like a lot of different games that you just don't see anywhere else in arcades. Like I don't know why. There's always a Fate Go like section.
It's not just one machine. There's an entire row.
There's a row of Fate Go machines in every fucking arcade. I swear to God.
And those machines, have you played on those machines?
I haven't yet.
They're fucking expensive.
What is it? I've never played the game.
The cards, right?
Yeah, it's so they're expensive because you can print out physical cards of the waifus that you get in Fate Go.
Oh, yo, for real?
Yeah.
Oh, you don't know that?
Oh
You
shit!
didn't-
Oh shit!
I'm surprised.
Oh shit!
They're very no, because you'll be broke. Don't be broke.
So Nabi, one of my best friends here, he is like a super heavy like Fate Go player. I mean, he used to be.
AKA, he has no money.
Yeah,
Bro.
AKA he's broke.
Bro,
So,
I don't
but-
need to give Fate any more money.
you don't.
Don't tell me this. Don't tell me this.
But he was, but from what I saw, because I went to an arcade with him, and he was like, "Oh, can I just go onto the Fate Go machines?" And I'm like, "Yeah, actually," because I've always wanted to know what they were. I've always just walked past them, and yeah, it's like a double screen. It's like a giant DS essentially, where the bottom screen is like a touch screen, and you have these packet of cards, and you can essentially use cards to summon fake characters.
That's so cool! Oh my god, you're showing me this, and I'm just like...
And if you like win, like, and if it's like you use the Fate characters to like beat like a certain quest. It's kind of like Dragon Quest with Fate characters. And if you beat a certain quest, and depending on how you beat it, then you can unlock different waifus, and you can actually print out the waifus from the machine.
Oh no! Don't tell him.
Oh no!
And like, just to play one game is already expensive enough, but of course they take money to like actually print out the cards.
Yeah.
So it's just like so much money for the Fate franchise right now. And I know after today, you're gonna go to one.
You're just gonna see me in a week and just be like, guys, I've sunk way too much money into this.
He's gonna come in with like a deck.
Like, why did you tell me?
I'm surprised you never went on it, considering you made that whole gacha video.
I mean, like, because of quarantine. Like, it was quarantine that started my process for the gacha video. So I haven't actually been to an arcade since quarantine started. So I've just been playing Fate Go. And so
you know what we're doing after this episode? We're going to an arcade that has a Fate Go machine.
It just sounds like Skylanders, but for questionable adults. You know what I mean? Like, that's what it sounds like. You can like summon the cards. Oh, okay.
I mean,